Hey guys, welcome to Faz Radio. Let's get started.
It's Friday. I'm telling you what, this has been a hell of a long week. I am really happy to be here tonight.
Same here. I went on a little vacation in the middle of the week, just a day and a half.
Right?
Was able to get away from the Discord for a while, but then people were freaking out, losing their fucking minds.
God damn it. I got my cat in the office with me. He just yanked my
Yanked your chain?
what yeah, he yanked the chain of the webcam off, so that's probably destroyed. I'm gonna kill this cat. I didn't want the cat in the first place. My wife and kids wanted it, so I
They're gonna
reluctantly
hear
let
that.
it in here.
They're gonna find out now that you've said it here.
I've never been a cat, and the cat loves me, right? So this is hard. He's driving me nuts, though. Totally destroying this studio one cord at a time.
Okay, so we're gonna be like talking about stuff. Can you fill us in what you put on the announcements?
Absolutely. So a lot of conversation this week on CFA, all over Twitter and other places. The regulatory crackdown continues. And Gala happened to be mentioned in passing in one of the latest suits the SEC brought against insider traders from Coinbase. So we wanted to go into that a little bit. We had a big discussion on CFA about that and give our thoughts a little bit deeper on what that could mean for Gala and what it doesn't mean for Gala. Townstar AMA today. I was at work and I wasn't able to participate, but I did have my earbuds in and I was listening. So I got to hear that. I wanted to discuss that, get some feedback from the group here as well as we go along. And then finally, this week with the Gala moratorium on normal operations, we'll put it that way. That sounds pretty good. Some of these other gaming platforms that we had talked about in the past have started to be resurrected in CFA. So I wanted to talk a little about that, get the community engagement for some updates. I bumped into an update or two, and I know that some of you have as well. So that's what I thought we would talk about tonight.
Yeah, I took your advice and invested in that BYG that you recommended. Thanks, man.
I don't know what you're talking about. So so I own that one. I had spent the better part of 4 days. I think it was springtime last year. Going through and pulling out all the P2E platforms that I could find that looked decent. And I know Faz is big on the space games. And so when I bumped into Black Eye Galaxy, I looked at it. I says, oh, man, this is like right up his alley. So I did my due diligence. I did the research. And that one, it looked like a winner, man. That really looked like they were making progress. They had everything in line, nice white paper. They had I wouldn't even call it a demo or an alpha, but they had out where you could go in and stake your tokens and start earning fuel and doing, quote, test runs with the Starship. So I'm like, okay, they're like a small little gaming house and they're putting something together. This could be really cool. Well, I circled back last week, and sure enough, they shut down. There was an announcement on the top of the screen that the servers were going to go dark. I think it was in either July or August. But the program was closed, and the server would be on for a short time, and they were going dark. So I was like, shit, I gotta tell Faz. So
Okay.
that's
That's a good lesson there. That's a good
what looks
lesson there,
good on the
Titan.
surface, yeah, what looks good on the surface and what looks even immersive and professional, y- things happen. And I dug around some more, and nobody knows for sure what happened. But apparently, and this is just rumor, this is not fact because I can't confirm it, okay? Uh, there were quite a few posts that's from people who apparently had interacted with the team on a deeper level that said they went and started a new project. So perhaps what they were saying is the contract that they wrote, the smart contract that they wrote for the token, gave them too many limitations or something. So at any rate, they bailed on that, in my opinion, irresponsibly and started something else. I looked at the website. It was very familiar to the Black Eye Galaxy website. So I do believe it's a possibility that they've restarted, and I am not going to talk about that one or put a link to that one. Screw me once, my fault. Screw me twice. Boy, that's not good. So
Okay,
I'm going to avoid that one for now.
so
So
there,
that
there,
was a big Titan bust.
there's a lesson in there, Titan, and that can happen to any of these things. And I kind of want to start things off by saying, okay, first of all, when you do crypto and when you do NFTs, be aware that you are speculating, that you're not investing in any specific project. So when I put some money into Black Eye Galaxy assets and tried to play the game for a while and see if I could make some money with it, yay, that's a game. They had game pieces there, and I bought some game pieces and I started playing it, and or at least tried, and you know, and then it went belly up. But as far as how much I put into it, that's kind of on me. And I'm bringing this up, obviously, because there's people complaining about Townstar halting their distribution lately. So there's a nice setup for you if you want to take it from here, Mr. Titan.
Right? So we'll get a little deeper into some of these other ones towards the end, but on as far as the Townstar thing, so a lot of you know that I'm pretty hard on Gala Games, and over the last year and 2 months or whatever it is that we've been doing Faz Radio, I've been very vocal about my displeasure with certain things. And I am surprisingly calm and well adjusted to what Gala is doing. So we had these bombs from Gala, right? Not only are we right in the middle of the halving, we have this node disruption for node owners where voting's all over the place and big changes coming to that, and people are grumpy about that. Then they shut off the emissions from Townstar, and it's like the whole community is like it. They literally like took a water balloon to Gala and just exploded it from a high rise, right? I I think it's a good thing, and I I've said it on the show before, and just the other day, Bitbender took the advice, or at least I'm going with that. But they took ownership for fucking it up, which I had been screaming about that for weeks on Faz Radio. And they did it. They took ownership of it, and I believe they're truly trying to fix it. And it sucks, and it's going to cause a lot of people in the ecosystem to go look for other things, and we'll kind of have to start all over again
Oh,
as
they'll
a
be back.
community. Well, I'm saying as a community, we're going to have to start all over again. It'll be much smaller, I think. I I I think they want to do the right thing, and I think in the long term, it's the right move. And one thing I put into that video that I put out last week, um, I copied a link to it in here. I mentioned it, and I mentioned it again in some of the other chats that I had. I think they get really one reset. Okay, every company gets one opportunity to like totally fuck things up, and then reset themselves and come back. And for the most part, the people who support that company or that industry or that athlete or whoever it might be will forgive them and move on. Okay? So since they pretty much nuked everything that we've grown to know over the last year and a half with Gala, now is the opportunity to do any rebranding that they want to do. And I am hardcore into this play to own that I've been pounding for a long time now. And I heard him mention it the other day, and it makes me wonder if they're starting to think along those same lines and kind of back off of that earning thing and back off of the earning NFTs and go more for just pure utility NFTs. You own your assets. That's how you get your earnings, is by selling any of those NFTs that you have. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think they're on the right track. I really do. The Townstar AMA today, I love this guy Mark Paladin, I think is his name over there. He's a no bullshit guy, but he doesn't drop F-bombs at people like Benefactor does. But he is all about accountability, and he's all about making things better. You can tell that this guy's no nonsense. He's straight up and he's very upfront, and he's like, here's what we're going to do and here's why. And he has it focused, and they have it moving in the right direction. So another big thing, I'm going to take credit for this too, because I pounded this on several episodes here. They've broken off into micro groups there. I had pounded and pounded. They need to focus. They need to focus on one thing, take all of their energy and put it into solving this problem before they do anything else. They have to, and you and I argued back and forth about that, Faz. And so they're doing that. They are putting micro teams on one task at a time to get things done, instead of overall Townstar things where everybody's just kind of scattered. They're saying, you're working on the UI issues. You're working on getting it over to the server side from the website. Here's your team. That's all you're looking at. Focus on that. And they're highly focused teams now that are going to be taking care of these issues, and hopefully that helps things get pushed out and taken care of faster. I don't think the guy is going to release garbage. Okay, I think when those releases happen, I think they're going to be in good shape, and it'll be seamless behind the scenes.
So why aren't you panicked? You're not panicked because you like the fact that they did a reset and everybody gets one reset. Companies actually they get several resets in life, but you seem to be fine with this reset because you think.
Well, they can reset a dozen times. What my point on that is that they can reset once with forgiveness from their fans. After that, it's damn near impossible to retain those fans. You're going to have to find all new fans, and that's tough to do.
How many fans are there actually out there? Because I'm still thinking that this is extremely early days. I mean, this isn't, Gala Games is not Electronic Arts right now. They have a small but loyal following of maybe, a few thousand people playing some of the games. Is that right?
10,000 DAU, according to Bitbender when he made that announcement.
So we have hundreds of millions of people in the United States, of which maybe 10 million might actually play online games. I'm thinking maybe 500,000 or 5 million people might get into Gala games eventually, one day, and that's just the United States. There's people all around the world. I certainly see Gala games taking this time to scale up and deal with, tens of millions of people being able to use their products. And that's what these nodes are. Is they're making it so that tens of millions of people can can consume them. So this is extremely, extremely, extremely early times for Gala games, especially with the amount of stuff they're putting out. I think 3 years from now we'll be like, yeah, remember when it was early, but I was in 2 years before now. So, and we were saying things were early then. So I think we're early until we get what 10, 20, 30,000 people playing these games every day. So okay, fine. Townstar can reset. They can do their thing. You have YouTubers freaking out. Oh my God, Townstar's going to hell. It's whatever. They just have something out there. They have a playable alpha or beta out there. And this is probably the first of many resets of different games. This is probably not going to be the only game that needs to reset, but hopefully the others will learn from that and then they'll adjust accordingly. I saw somebody saying on the CryptoFaz Discord today something about, well, yet another person saying that Townstar is failing and stuff like that. And, how do you judge the success of this if they failed like this? It's like, well, if this was their fifth or sixth game and they're having a reset like this, maybe I'd have some cause for concern. But this is the very first game that they're doing. This is a new space. We're still trying to figure out how to use our damn wallets. Grandma still doesn't understand how to play Townstar because she doesn't understand how to log in. All that stuff needs to be taken care of before I think things really get going. So I'm fine with resets. If you're in for the long haul, if you bought NFTs and you're in for the long haul, it's going to be a long ride.
So there's some different areas that I chat in, and one of the things that I brought up and that I had a small conversation about is the Web3 interaction, right? So they had mentioned, Bitbender was on with Wendy O the other day, and they had mentioned that they were guessing maybe 4 weeks out for this Web3 login. Not sure if you guys are aware, but they did a Fuzzle drop today, and you didn't even have to own a Fuzzle to get this drop. And I was on my lunch hour when this happened.
How successful does that say the Fuzzles are being if they're not doing exclusive for just the Fuzzle people?
Yeah, okay, all right, Mr. Fudd, Elmer Fudd. Anyway, I hate Fuzzles myself.
Fudd.
At any rate, let me get to my point. So I see the notice and I go to grab it, and
what's going on,
I
guys?
can't get into it. And the reason I can't get into it is because the coding doesn't allow an iPhone to be able to connect even through MetaMask. If you have an iPhone, you can't do anything Web3 pretty much on that. It's a pain in the ass if you can get through. So there were a couple people complaining about that. And so I put my iPhone down, I grabbed my Pixel, and I went in and I grabbed one. And it took all of like 4 seconds to do. So what my concern is the same concern that I have expressed over a year now, is they rush this stuff out without testing it, and you think it's a really cool thing, and then when you try to use it, something goes sideways, and it kind of wrecks the whole experience, and that keeps throwing these nuggets of doubt in your head. And then you have these people who are advocating like for these node bonuses. Oh, let's make sure we have, 1 million Gala tokens on the platform and this and that, and you get a bonus and rah rah rah. They're not giving me confidence that they can keep those tokens secure when I can't even use an iPhone, which is a very secure phone.
You were just
I can't
confident.
even.
You were just confident in Gala Games and how they're doing their Townstar reset. Now you're really unhappy about the Fuzzles, which you don't like.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how they're rushing things out. Completely different topic.
Whoops. Okay, sorry, I wasn't following along.
So, yeah, that they have an opportunity here to do that reset. They need to get all of these little details done correctly. They need to give people, as Faz you just mentioned a few minutes ago, it has to be like Apple. It has to be simple, it has to be quick, and it has to be beautiful. And if I can't use an iPhone, which is what most people on this planet have, to go in and just do a simple quick mint, that's a problem. And I'm supposed to trust being able to keep these tokens on a Web3 platform when I can't even access it to mint something? There's still little things there. So
give it time.
And that's what I mean. While I want to support their learning, I don't think they should be doing these drops the way that they're doing them if they don't have all their I's dotted and T's crossed.
So wait,
does that make sense?
Did you ever figure that perhaps maybe the fact that you're here early means that you tend to get, more things like this or more chances at things like this because you're in early? It's worth noting.
It is.
The stuff is a lot of gaming companies don't put things out until they're like, well, I was thinking of Rockstar Games. A lot of games put things out when they're done. Although when things are done these days, it's kind of funny because then they immediately have to put out a patch immediately. If you have a version 1.0 of any application, it's almost a scary number at this point. So as soon as a new game is put out, there's a version 1.0. But it seems like all games have kind of moved to let's just get it out, and that's what they're doing with various NFT projects. They're just getting them out as soon as they're out. If you were one of the first people to hear of it, then you're going to get some opportunities. If you haven't, if I don't know, Fuzzles have been out for 6 months, you'd think that these things are largely solved now. But again, this space is still new, and I'm just kind of taking it as it comes. I certainly have some preferences with how they would do things. I certainly have some criticisms, but I do think that people do need to kind of chill out a little bit when they're freaking out about this kind of stuff and just say, hey, if it's early, if you want things to be safe, you should come back in a year. Wait till it's all figured out. Wait till your grandma can get playing these games, and then you'll have less problems.
Yeah.
Now I'm sounding like passive-aggressive Titan.
Yeah, I mean, we've switched roles the last few weeks here. It's kind of funny, but I resigned myself to things. I've had some very deep, meaningful interactions with some people on the Gala platform I haven't had an opportunity to talk to in the past. And the conversations with Bitbender, the guy, he has communication glitches on occasion, and I now understand though the why behind the why. And I've also resigned myself to not only hearing what you've had to say over the last year, but watching what other people say and how they react to things, right? So, my paradigm has shifted into that long-term vision. I thought I had a long-term vision, but my long-term vision wasn't as long-term as I thought it was. I hope that makes sense. So,
Well, I see this area still as I see this crypto area as new crypto speculators learning what software development is all about. I see a lot of people simply expecting to see games coming out, crypto games coming out like they'd see a movie come out. You only hear about a movie when it comes out, when it's done and it's out there, and then you could sit down and watch your movie and enjoy it. And these crypto investors are starting to realize, oh, there's a development process. Oh, people are selling things before they are made. Oh, so if I buy this, I'm not going to see shit for like 9 months at least? Yeah. And then when you do see stuff, it's going to be like half done and you're seeing demos, and it's because they want to keep you excited. I know it's hard to think that way because, you know, Gala Games and other gaming companies are hyping the fuck out of things. Like, oh, come see this. This is groundbreaking. This is earth-shattering. Wow, look how cool this is. And then it's like nothing for months. It's like, oh, wow, I got an NFT that I can't use. So I feel like there's a certain amount of adjustment that needs to happen on one side or another. I'm not defending either side. I'm not defending the hype, and I'm not defending the fact that people want stuff right away. They both make some sense, but realistically speaking, yeah, don't expect anything you buy today in the NFT world, if it's associated with the game, to be ready right now.
Well, the bigger lesson, I think you hit it really good earlier. You hit it really good. You're going to buy these NFTs, and there's a chance that absolutely nothing will happen with them. You'll get a buff in the game. There'll be no earnings with it. There could be you spend this money, and it could be that 3 years from now, when Miranda's finally drops and you have your stack of 15 NFTs, you go in there and you're pulling out $4 a day. You've got to go in eyes wide open. And I've hammered it home, and I'll keep the narrative going. If Gala won't tell you today what the NFT cost, exactly what it's going to do, and exactly what the benefit is, don't buy it.
Well,
don't put your money out. Well, no,
you can.
Don't put your money out there.
You can buy it. Just realize that you're speculating. You are speculating. You guys should be glad, because before this Faz radio today, I basically just ranted at Titan about the fact that you have all these people in the crypto space that are losing their shirts left and right, and they want somebody to yell at. Like, oh my God, they convinced me of this. They convinced me of that. Oh my God. And that's what you're asking for there when you're saying these guys should be held accountable. They shouldn't say this. You're asking for regulation. But at the same time, you want to be able to speculate as wildly as you can, and be able to make a lot of money. And so you can't have it both ways. You can't speculate on things extremely early and have everybody held accountable. Because regulation is going to shut that speculation shit down. I mean,
well,
sorry.
And what I used to tell when I was in financial planning years ago, what I used to tell people is two things, and I would hammer it home with them. Number one, first and foremost, and this is a rule, if you follow it, it will transform your thinking on how you do things, all right? It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep. So even if you're only making 2%, it's better than losing 10%. Always keep that in mind. Number two, the best way to put risk into perspective, and I'm going to use Gala as an example. So if you expect your portfolio of Miranda's NFTs to have made you, when you play it, your expectation is you're going to make $100,000 a year off of those NFTs. You also have to have an equal expectation that you're going to lose $100,000 in Miranda's. And if you're not willing to lose $100,000 in Miranda's, you should not be buying something that you think is going to make you $100,000.
Yeah, and that's the thing is people buy things in the crypto world. Everybody wants to buy the next Bitcoin and get the next 1,000 or 10,000x, and those are extremely rare. They're accidents with the amount of coins that there are, and if you pick right, not only do you have to pick right, but you have to throw a buttload of money into it when you do pick right, because it's not like you're going to spend $5 or $1,000 and get like 50,000x off of something, like what happened with Bitcoin. So, I mean, I think I kind of feel like we're getting back to basics here in the middle of a bear market, which is, it should be obvious at this point, is you just cannot be so optimistic that you think that putting a second mortgage on your house is a good idea, or going into debt, or talking your mother out of money and investing your mother's money. I'm leading to this because I found this site on Twitter called Coinfessions. I think it's just at Coinfessions, where people talk about how much money they've lost or how much they've screwed things over, and a lot of people there seem to think like it's somebody else's fault, or or they're complete total losers because they did it the wrong way. And I don't think so. I think there's just a happy middle ground of saying, hey, get some education, some finance, some investing education. I think that's important, that people actually pay attention to the terms of service when they're putting money in things and stuff like that. Didn't I see somewhere on the CryptoFast Discord, maybe it was in the Gold channel, where somebody was saying that they didn't read the TOS about Gala nodes, and then
God, I saw that,
and
guy.
they're pissed off about the fact that hey, what the hell? There's this halving. What the hell is this halving? Is now I'm getting half the Gala every day. I wasn't expecting this, and by the time people got into these nodes, they're like $10,000 and $20,000 and $30,000. Now they're getting like 100 Gala a day, and they're losing their fucking minds. And I'm sorry, I got into the nodes really early when they were like $1,000-something, and I was sweating bullets, reading as much as I can. And I see people now dropping $10,000 and $20,000 on nodes and having the balls to get irate about it when they hear about a halving. It's like, wait a minute, you didn't know anything about this ecosystem? It's not like there's some company trying to talk you into buying Gala. You went out and put your money into Gala. Yeah, you went on the Discord, and everybody's talking about the Discord, but talking about things on the Discord, but I don't think that you went on the Gala Discord and learned about how much money you could make on the Gala Discord. These stories seem to be on the Gala Discord, because if people try that on the CryptoFast Discord, we shut them down. Like, dude, get real.
They're watching. They bought the node based off of somebody's hyped up YouTube video, and they didn't do their research. They just aped in.
Some teenager with a YouTube video.
Yeah, right. So LA Tool Man, the impulse buying, yes, absolutely. Now wait, I'm gonna caveat this. And there's going to be audible gasps coming from the audience at this point.
Are you going to insult the audience like I do?
No.
Oh.
I'm going to say something that I don't think anybody ever expected me to say. I think the impulse buying to this point was fantastic. All right? Because here's the thing. If you're a Galaxian, right? And you are in this for the long term, and the long term meaning years, guys, not 6 months, not, half a year. We've been in this a year and a half. They've come a long way, but longer than that, right? If you want to just sit and enjoy this platform for years to come, they have to have the $5, 6, $7 billion that they've collected from these sales. Otherwise, you're going to get shit games. All right. Baz has talked about this in the past. He is very in tune with how this works. He was a back-end dev. So if we hadn't spent all that money just aping in and trusting them, you would get a game that is half of what Townstar is today. And if you think Townstar is shit now, you would have games that are half of what Townstar is. Now,
You mean like Black Hole Galaxy?
Yeah,
Sorry,
like Black Eye
same.
Galaxy, right?
Black
Gala's
Hole.
not going to shut their doors. All right, you have. This is what I mean when you talk about, okay, the early adopters, and everybody cries, well, why do they get drops and why do they get this and these whales and da da da. Okay, well, there's a risk that Gala could have been Black Eye Galaxy those first 6 months, and they're up until probably November, December of this past year, they could have been Black Eye Galaxy. But the community put all that money in blindly. But here's the thing, and this is why most people are butthurt, and this is why I was butthurt for a while. We want to see results, right? So we're seeing those results, but we're not seeing it the way that we want to see it. We're seeing it by them shutting off the emissions. We're seeing it by the halvening. We're seeing it by them sitting down and retooling everything that they're doing to try and make it better. So I'm okay with where I am. And I know there's people, and we saw it on CFA, that are underwater on this big time, right? They got in a little bit later, and tens of thousands of dollars later, they're sitting on all this stuff that seems to be worthless at this point. And that sucks. That sucks really bad. But that's where that long-term vision comes in. If you're not in it for the long term, don't buy anything.
Well,
Because things may not work out the way you want.
you need to realize what you're doing. If you are spending a lot of money, do the homework to find out if it's a good deal. Do a lot of research, because after all, it is a speculation. This is not something that Gala Games is going to suggest that you do. You're betting on racehorses. It's like watching a baseball game or a pinball game and saying this guy is going to win, or I think that they're going. I think this baseball team's going to go to the World Series. You're just betting that. Gala can't guarantee that. If you did the research and you go, wow, I think this is a good team, they got the right people, then you can be assured that, okay, this was a good risk to take.
But it is going to take time. And I've resigned myself to not judge until it all settles in. And because we did all that impulse buying, Gala now has the funds to make epic things happen. There's no excuse now that, hey, we didn't have the money to give you a great experience. They got the money. They brought in Mark for Townstar, who I think that was the best thing. That they probably paid this guy a ridiculous amount of money. And
maybe it was the part where they said that they were going to pay this guy a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah. And Benefactor came into the chat and they said he has an unlimited budget. He can do absolutely anything he wants to do
With Town, he can burn it. He can give it to Binance to make friends. He could do whatever.
Yeah, he has total control. So I think that'll help. I really do.
We might want to hit your clickbaity title here, because people probably came to learn more about what regulation could mean to Gala.
Yeah, I'm going to start putting timestamps in here for that.
I like that.
So this week we caught a huge news blurb about the SEC jumping on these inside traders at Coinbase, and the Department of Justice brought charges, and there's lawsuits. Essentially, if you haven't followed this, if you don't know what this is, there were 3 employees at Coinbase, or maybe it was 1 employee and 2 of their relatives. It depends on what news article you read. What they were doing is they knew ahead of time, whether it be 3 days, a week, whatever, what tokens Coinbase was going to link before it was public knowledge, right? So these listings were private to Coinbase people. So this person, the focus person on this lawsuit, was telling his family and friends, as well as himself, and buying into these tokens before they were listed, and then as soon as they listed, of course they would rocket right up to the moon. These people would sell them and make enormous profits. And there's a Bitcoiner, a maxi, named Kobe. He's like an OG. And Kobe discovered this, and he started posting about this because he's like, I found these wallets, and there's 4, 5, 6 of these wallets who magically always have buys on tokens that are listed like a week before they're actually listed. And that's what blew this up. So that was, I want to say, like 9 months ago. I'm terrible with time. I'm going to guess and say like 9 months ago. Well, it's come full circle, and the Department of Justice is bringing insider trading charges against this individual and the other associated persons. And as an aside, they also listed 9 of the tokens that these folks purchased before they actually listed. And one of which was my baby, AMP. I've talked about it in the Emerging Cryptos room ad nauseum. I love it. It's a collateral token. They also listed 8 more, and Faz, when he was poking around, noticed that they were all banking and or payment related.
Well, they're not all banking. There was some banking. There's a few different ones. I think there's a gaming token in there too. But there's some banking tokens in there.
And I think one of I
think they're predisposed to go after those.
Yeah, one of our CFA folks noticed that in the documents, Gala was one of those tokens.
Well, so it wasn't one of the. So the SEC made a document. I think it was another organization the Department of Justice that Coinbase had talked to about this, but the SEC decided to jump in, and then all they did was they wrote down some sort of history of 9 tokens that were involved and that they would consider securities, and Gala wasn't listed among them, but Gala was one of the tokens that the dude who got busted for insider trading was trading, though he didn't make very much on it. I think he invested in 4 or 5 tokens, of which included Gala, and he made like $12,000. It's like, if you're going to be busted for more than that.
Well, the interesting part on that is the fact that if they're going to charge insider trading, they're making the assumption that the tokens that were traded are securities, right? So it's kind of like the cart before the horse there, which I found very interesting. That was the most interesting thing I found out of this whole thing. So they are basically, the way that this regulation by enforcement thing seems to be working is that if your asset is not named Bitcoin, it's assumed that it is a security. That's the way they're approaching this.
Well, that's going to be a problem because now other court cases are going to cite this situation and be like, well, obviously these people thought it was a security. But really quick, apparently these 9 coins that they were talking about were not the SEC is not prosecuting those coins. They just listed them. They just mentioned them. Which is kind of weird. It's like they're saying that they're securities, but they're not going to do anything about it.
They're setting it up, is what they're doing.
They're waiting for other wins. They want other wins to happen so they can refer to it and say, see, we told you a year ago.
They do. They want small wins, but they also want to get small wins before they lose to XRP. They're delaying XRP
to
suit
Ripple.
as long as
To
possible.
Ripple.
Yeah.
Coinfessions is on Twitter, Magipto.
I think that's part of it, is they want to get some small wins before they lose to the Ripple case. But also, I think they're setting this up so that they can sue Coinbase for selling unregistered securities. Because if they can get, and in this conversation we had on CFA last night, I said I think that's one of the big reasons that they included these tokens, because it seems kind of odd they would just throw these tokens in and then make commentary about these tokens, talking, kind of trying to confirm using verbiage that meets the Howey test, right? So I think what they're trying to do is to get a judge to put into the record somewhere, somehow, to set that precedent that this judge understands that these are securities.
Oh yeah, and if you follow the Ripple case, they're trying anything and everything to delay it and just make themselves look like complete idiots to make this take as long as possible.
Out of there.
You must be talking to your cat.
Yeah, this cat is trying to pull the other damn cord now.
Get a squirt gun, dude. Anyway, so yeah, I think the SEC is being very they're not being very honest, and they were even being called out by the Ripple case judge as being very hypocritical. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this one ends up. It seems that they're going to do this to everybody as much as possible, and this is I hope that the Ripple people in the Ripple case actually make a big deal about that part too, about the SEC is not playing fairly.
You know, I think they're going to, and I think they resigned themselves to loss a long time ago with that Ripple case. And the enforcement division is going to turn everything into a big pile of mush so that nobody even understands what's going on. They want the headlines that everybody that is out there making these projects and issuing these tokens, that they're garbage and they're going to get sued and it's a bad place to put your money. Stop putting your money into the crypto sphere and yada. The whole campaign
is to FUD.
Is just
they want to FUD.
They don't want your money in this space. They want your money back in the traditional banking system and stock market.
Let's talk about Let's talk about this regulation by enforcement thing of what they're doing. So the whole definition of the SEC is to provide clarity in the marketplace so that people can play fair. Yet they back away from any type of clarity. If you ever ask them a direct question, they will never answer the question, or they'll simply say, this involves a case that we're working with and we don't comment on those. So at no point will they tell you what something is. And so watching interviews with the SEC is stupefying because they just, every question you ask them, they just avoid it. Why even have an interview with them at this point? All they want to say is, we're a cop, we're on the beat, we're going to watch you. And I mean, basically they regulate by enforcement, which means you never know the speed limit. You'll get pulled over when you're going too fast. If you ask the cop, what was the speed limit, he's going to say you were going too fast. But then it's not just if you ask what the speed limit is, it's like, okay, fine, I was going too fast, maybe going 70 miles an hour is too fast, so don't go above 70 miles an hour. Oh, no. You can't tell anyone else either. They make you sign all sorts of stuff. They'll say, well, if you plea bargain and agree that you don't tell anybody how we enforce this, then we'll let you go for right now. That is until they figured you did something else wrong. Like, okay, well, you were. It's not that you're going too fast this time. It was you had a tail light that was broken out, and that's illegal. Oh, what else is illegal? Well, why don't you just do something wrong, and then you'll find out. And all that does is creates this atmosphere of fear to where you can't develop new and interesting things and make lots of money and benefit the world because they want you to be scared shitless that you're going to break a law, and you never are ever told what the law is you're breaking until after you've broken it.
They have to be that way, though.
Have to be? Why? Why can't they just tell you in advance?
Well,
why can't they tell the world we don't think that Bitcoin is a security? I mean, they had to get that beaten out of them after like 10 years. They had to have that beaten out of them. And even then they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's not a security. But even then they'll hedge it. And they'll be like, well, if you're going to use it wrong, we'll still get you.
They want it as broad as possible so they can have as much power as they can get. Even it was a nightmare when I had to do suitability checks, right? So if one of my advisors would go out and advise a client to invest their money into this, that, or the other, they'd have to write up a narrative on that, and they'd have to write in, why did they do it? How did they choose it? How did they get the risk tolerance of the person? I mean, this whole big thing, and they would put it in this big narrative report, and it would come to my desk, and I would have to then read through that and either approve or deny that case, right? And if I approved it, my ass was on the line if something went sideways, right? So I would have to go through and make sure this was a suitable investment for that person. If that person 3, 5, 7 years down the road lost their ass, right? And they bring that lawsuit up and said, hey, this advisor told me to invest in this and it was garbage and it went away. Guess whose ass was on the line there? So they want it nice and broad so that they can pick and choose how they want to, quote, protect the investor.
You mean so that they can choose winners and losers?
They can. They want that power. And it's a horrible way of approaching things by this enforcement thing. I went through a case where my name was on some paperwork that ended up the customer was all pissed off. And in the end, it turned out okay. We won the case in front of an arbitration committee. The advisor did everything they were supposed to do. I did everything I was supposed to do. The problem is, in this space, there's so much wiggle room and so much ability by all parties to interpret things their own way that it makes it very difficult to sort through all that and make it even worth doing in the first place. In the end game, it's really just paying attention, because the investor doesn't provide the SEC or FINRA or anybody else with any recourse, right? So these Coinbases, these large securities brokers and everything else, they're the ones that have all the money. That's who the SEC wants to go for, because they want to get them to a point where they feel like they have their thumb down on them and say, ha, we got you. You did this wrong. You did that wrong. You didn't disclose this. You didn't disclose that. But if you pay a fine of, $8 million, we'll let it go. And we'll take some of that, give it back to the customer. They're happy. We're happy. You've learned an important lesson. And the company will come back and say, okay, well, what could we have done differently? And they'll say, well, you just need to figure it out. And they point back to these very vague rules that it's stupid. It's really stupid.
Okay, so that's actually a risk for Gala too, right? I mean, just because the SEC hasn't said anything about Gala doesn't mean that they couldn't come after Gala in a year or so after maybe you decide to spend $10,000 buying Gala, hoping that the coin would go up, or maybe a new game was going to come out.
Well, that is absolutely true, and so there's third party risk too that people need to take into consideration. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to be very careful here because I don't feel like getting sued at this point. So we're going to make up names, right? So we have Gala Games and we have Music Nodes and we have these NFTs that are made. And there's this rapper that comes onto the Gala Music platform, the Great Fazzolini. And the Great Fazzolini is this rapper who's the hottest thing in LA, since the Blood and Crypt War of 1987, right? And we have the Great Fazzolini make his rap tune, and all of us spend $1,000 on this kick-ass NFT music song that he puts out.
Because it has the word Faz in it, and that's why you bought it.
I would. I'd buy anything with Faz's name on it. It sucks that your bugs don't have Faz's name on it. See, that's why I don't buy more. So the Great Fazzolini puts this out, and we're all making our earnings off of broadcasting this song. And then the Great Fazzolini has this huge scandal because he stole lyrics and overshot the sampling on his track. So now he's being sued by Titan of the World, who originally made that song. And this goes to court, and the court immediately says, well, first of all, shut it all down till we figure this out. So what happens is then Gala has to shut down that music NFT. So you have this third-party risk, and then what is that NFT worth to you? It's sitting in your Gala Music node, and you can't play it. You can't do anything with it. The art has to be taken off of it. It can't be played anywhere. There's a risk to all of this. Now, I don't want to project this as FUD or oh my God, this could. But really, it's a risk, and that risk has to be managed.
You've terrified everybody out of their skin at this point.
Well, I don't mean to do that, but these are things that you need to consider before you just ape into all this stuff. And it's something that is expensive to hedge against, because you do have to do that due diligence. You do have to vet the people you bring onto the platform. There's all these risks that are out there. And I hit this in one of our other Faz radio broadcasts, is us as investors, and if you haven't read the terms of service, Faz sent me the terms of service this morning for the Gala film nodes, and I flipped through it, and the risk is pretty high. The investor in these NFTs and in these nodes, we're taking a huge risk. And traditionally, when you invest in something that has very high risk, you get that very high return.
What kind of risks are you talking about here? What kind of things were you reading in the film node TOS that caused you to think that it's a huge risk?
Exactly what I was talking about with my bullshit example a minute ago. Right?
the artist could be plagiarizing.
You asked me a question. Let me answer it. It hits very hard many times in many different areas on IP law, right? So these film companies, if their IP gets tied up in whatever else, it says in their typical stuff, hey, we can pull that back if there's IP breaches or if there's problems or if someone gets sued, and there's nothing you can do. You hold Gala harmless from any IP violations and blah 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 blah.
Because then what you're buying then is a. I kind of think of those Gala film nodes as like the Atari 2600, and the songs are like the Atari cartridge. So you're buying an Atari cartridge that you kind of don't own, but you just get money for broadcasting it. And if there's something that comes up with that song or that Atari cartridge, well, then you can't use that anymore. You can't play it. You can play the other songs that you have, but you can't play that one anymore. So you're really you're buying these really you're buying these things that are all kind of conflated with their film system. And their film system can't. So it actually does say that if there's something tied up in litigation, that your film, that you no longer have the right to show this film or to stream this film with the node.
No. Well, you have the right to stream whatever Gala feels you have the right to stream on
whatever they've approved. Right. And if Gala then changes their mind for some reason, then you can't stream it.
Now, the risk on that is very low. Gala's not just going to come out and say, oh, we don't agree with that, we're going to shut it off. But the risk is small, but the risk is there that something could happen somewhere along the lines, and that NFT has IP issues, and there's something there. So my long story is I'm trying to convey that there is a lot of risk. And with that risk, you have to be the reward has to equal the risk. So if we're taking all the risk here, that reward needs to be high.
Are you really taking all the risk? Or so because this is a Gala node or Gala film node, I would assume that Gala's taking some risk and you're taking some risk, as opposed to, say, the traditional film industry, where the film company is taking the risk. 20th Century Fox is taking all the risk, and if they have a movie that bombs, well, then they lose it, right? Still dealing with your cat?
Yeah, I'm taking the cat downstairs, so entertain them for a moment while I take this cat out of here. It's killing me to death over here.
All right. So apparently he's going to go lock up that cat in the laundry room or something. So I'm going to take his point a little bit further and say, okay, be aware that when you buy a Gala film node, that you're buying a system that enables you to make money off of Gala film NFTs that you own. Notice I keep putting the word Gala in front of those things. Gala film node, Gala film NFTs. So if for some reason there's a problem with this NFT, then too bad. It's Gala that's going to decide to cut it off. There's other things to be aware of too, because the artists with the Gala music nodes, there's individual artists that own these songs. This is something I have not read in the TOS yet because I don't think it's come out for the music stuff. But if the artist wants to yank it or something, that might make a difference. That might matter. So I would say that there's a certain amount of speculation in with these Gala Film NFTs and the Gala Music NFTs.
I agree with you, and so I don't want this to turn into a beat up on Gala stuff. But these are things
I don't see this as
you
beating
need
up.
to look at.
I don't see this as beating up on Gala. I see this as just letting people be aware of what they're putting their money into. People are used to going to Target and buying a product and using that product, and investing is not like that. Especially when you're, I'm sorry, I won't say investing. Buying NFTs is not like that because buying an NFT is not a traditional investment product. It's structured as you buy this, it's yours, and you get rewards for it. And those rewards are not guaranteed. But you think, okay, if I buy an investment product, if I get a 401k, and all of a sudden they stop deciding to give me my interest for it all the time, okay, you got something for them because that's a traditional investment product. And that's the thing is the SEC wants to regulate a lot of these things with crypto as investment products so that they can take Gala games to task if there's a problem. Until that happens, you're the one that's taken to task for it. I know this sounds like a broken record, and you probably heard this many times before, but I'm still seeing too many people on the internet who just don't get it, who's putting a whole bunch of money into it and getting butthurt that they've lost a bunch of money. They like the fact that there's no rails, but then they don't like the fact that the rails didn't save them or limits their abilities.
Yeah, this space for a year, we basically did nothing but go up. And I was showing Faz, this was probably 2 weeks ago, we had one of our evening calls, and we frequently share screens back and forth and everything. And at one point, I was showing him how I was in a nice 6-figure range, right? And it all disappeared instantly, just about. And I'm okay because this is all money that I didn't need.
Well, okay, wait. And anything that you speculate in crypto isn't real until you've sold it. If you look at your wallet and you see, wow, I bought Gala at 1 cent and now it's up to $1. Oh my God, I'm up like $100,000. Isn't this great? No, you don't have $100,000. You don't have anything. You have a potential for $100,000 if you could sell it all this minute. What you really have, so you don't have anything until you sell it. I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind when you're doing anything in crypto. Only when you have the money, only when you sell it, do you have the money. Until then, it's not real.
It is, and all of us are down a ridiculous amount. And the reason that I'm okay is because I put money in there that I don't need to live, okay? I can live just fine without those assets. And it's nice to have them. Don't get me wrong. But you can't put money into the crypto space that will take away from your current lifestyle. You can't do it. Don't do it.
All right. So, do we have another topic, or are we wanting to perhaps wrap this one up?
Oh dear Lord, we've rambled forever. I'm surprised these 11 people are still awake at this point.
All right. So I just want to I want to move us along. We've been going on this subject long enough.
Right, and I think we got our point across. I hope we got our point across. So what we want to do is we want to introduce something a little bit new at the end of the show. So we want to pose a question to the listeners, and we're going to ask that you use the YouTube comments to answer the question of the week. All right, we can talk about it on the Discord, but we do want you to answer in the YouTube comments. So the question of the week this week is from what we talked about with Gala Games. Do you believe that the reset that they're doing will have them come out better off on the other side? And why do you think, yes or no?
I'm going to type this up into the chat here. So question of the week.
Do you think the reset that Gala is doing will have them come out better on the other side or worse? And a couple sentences on why.
Okay. Post in the comments below. There we go.
Yes.
Right.
For those of you who hung through, I definitely appreciate it. We had a long one today. Boy, we had a lot to talk about.
Most of that is
as
people
a
waiting.
teaser,
Most of that was-
as a teaser coming up, we have on August 5th, XRP Detroit, our wonderful community member and Dean's List recipient. And by the way, I haven't forgotten about that. We're starting to pick up with all this chat again. It was very quiet in CFA for a long time, so I haven't been putting out any of the new Dean's List members, but I have quite a few that I'm looking at in the next week or two. I'm going to be getting back into getting those awards out since we're talking again.
Well, what is the reason why somebody would get on the Dean's List? And what is the Dean's List again for all those new people? And what's the Crypto Faz Discord for people who only listen to Faz Radio and don't get on the Discord?
Crypto Faz Academy is an educational Discord geared towards people who want to take their knowledge of crypto and increase it or learn about it for the first time.
All right, thank you for that.
Yes, I tried to do my best radio voice. The Dean's List is a special place. So people who go above and beyond to not only engage in conversation, deep, meaningful conversation. We don't do levels like some of these other Discords do where you just babble about, dog pictures and you earn levels and then you get rewards. We want deep, meaningful conversations, people who are engaged in this. You don't have to agree with us. We love a good debate, a respectful, nice debate on crypto topics. And people who go above and beyond what a normal, everyday Discord member would do. So when I recognize that people are going above and beyond and really engaging and helping to educate and putting opinions out there that make sense and have some merit behind them, Faz and I want to reward them with a Dean's List. And so we are building a Dean's List, and once we have a nice big Dean's List recipient list, we're going to put together some special privileges for those folks. XRP Detroit has been with us for a long time. I've been bugging him for probably 6 months to come on the show here, and he is passionate about the Wax platform. So he's going to walk us through the Wax platform, what it is, what it's about, how to get involved with it, what you can do there. So I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be August 5th, coming up for XRP.
So there might also be a Faz Radio interview. I have one penciled in with the Echoes of Empire team. I say penciled in because they've been very busy and they actually do their own AMAs. But I believe I got them I got them on a promise that they would talk with us. So we're going to have some questions for them for any of the people that have Echoes of Empire. It might be, or Echoes of Empire NFTs. It might be good to listen in.
As always, we appreciate you being here. If there's projects that we have not bumped into yet, I've seen a few pop up in CFA recently. Educate the folks in Emerging Cryptos, Emerging P2E, or the Games channel. And if it is a solid project that you're passionate about, please let us know. We can reach out to the team there and see if they would be available to come on Faz Radio. Dean's List members get priority to come on the show and talk with us. If there's something you're passionate about and you would like to be included on Faz Radio, we encourage you to reach out to me or Faz. We'd be happy to talk with you on the show. But we really want to stress, be nice. Engage with CFA, engage with Gala, engage with all these other projects as someone who goes in and asks questions and becomes involved. We're all going to disagree at some point, but do it respectfully and have that conversation instead of an argument. Faz and I are not good examples sometimes because he and I scream at each other. You guys have heard it.
The important part is we're here to learn. And
right.
I really feel like arguing with other people in a really hateful way. I said in a really hateful way because Titan and I don't hate each other, but we do argue. Arguing with people in a very hateful way or just being hateful, it's counter to our purpose. We want to learn more about how the crypto world works so we can give each other ideas and learn how all this stuff works. So that's my goal. So I'm also, a lot of people have been using the CryptoFaz Academy Discord as almost some sort of Gala Games chat in exile. You know, the people who get banned from Gala Games all of a sudden start feeling like they can just engage the people that work at Gala Games over on this Discord. And personally, I think these people shouldn't have to work while they're not working. So they're there as community members. They just want to learn about crypto as well. So I'm probably going to ask people to kind of take that elsewhere. If they have a problem with Gala itself, you have an ability to make a ticket on your Gala account, and you do get emails from Gala Games. So there are ways to talk to the people there, but you know, engaging people engaging Gala people on our Discord probably won't work out too well.
I think that's all the housekeeping we had.
All right.
So yeah, Repti, reach out to us. Post some information about Gridcraft. If it's an NFT game, emerging NFT games would be a great channel to educate that on. And we'll all jump into it and give our opinions. And if it's a great thing, we'll reach out to the team. And if you want to join us, you're more than welcome to do so.
And everybody here, if you're not on CryptoFaz Academy, the CryptoFaz Academy Discord, you can see a link in the upper right-hand side, and I'll make sure that gets posted. I think I'll put that in our outro. So, that it, Titan? Got anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you guys for hanging with us through a very long show this week.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to do the outro screen now. Bye-bye.